What up, big fish homies? Back at the garage. We haven't been here in a while. It's been like, I don't even know, a week or two. We've done a little fishing, but haven't done an aquarium video in a while. As you can see, things changed a little bit. Or actually, I think you saw the changes in the last video. I'm not sure. But the wild caught angels are gone. We still got some down there. I'm just gonna give you guys a little update of all the tanks we have. We got some hopefully pairs coming soon. Got some new setups. What else do we got? The wild discus are the same. Over at Jason's house, I think things are a little different. You'll see baby plecos, wrigglers. We got mass shrimp. Just a full-on update. Check it out. Alright, so you guys are going to see a lot of angels for a little bit just because we're kind of focusing on these. We're trying to work a little bit on wholesaling. I have the discus too, and we're trying to pair off the wild ones. So you'll be seeing some other discus. We've messed around with line breeding with other animals, so we should be able to make some pretty cool stuff over here with these pretty common angel fish. We're trying to get some more rare ones too. It's just hard to get stuff shipped. Anyways, we're doing a little studying on genetics too, so we're kind of learning the names. Probably by next video we'll be more confident. So over here we have like a gold marble, I guess you could say for short. I think it's blushing too, but anyways, like I said, we're still learning the genes. Got some double darks. Hopefully there's are two females and a male. Over here we have a marble. You can see she's super fat with eggs. Hopefully she's laid eggs for us a couple times, actually maybe 3 times, but one of her mate died. We had an unfortunate accident with a bunch of fish. I think we talked about that in a different video, but anyways, we always treat our fish when we get them now, long story short. We also have this little dark marble guy. He's a pretty cool shape. I think we're gonna maybe breed for some finnage or shape. We'll see. Down here we got some wilds that we kept back. We kept pretty much the biggest ones that we could find. They're eating on bloodworms and brine shrimp. We give them a little flake and beef heart mix that we make too. You can see that one in the middle is pretty darn big. And we got them like about 2 months ago, and they were like dime or quarter size. There's some pretty cool things about these guys. One that's facing the back wall that just got nipped at. He has like a little marking behind his eye, and one in here does too, so we're gonna try and play with that. I think you can also see we got 2 smoky ones in here. There's one and there's the other. They were in soft water at their pet store we got them at, so we put them in here with the wild so we could get a little crossbreeding going on. And a lot of these have like less dark on them. That's why we kept the ones on this side minus the smokies. The ones over here are more dark, except that one on the top. They change color a lot, but these ones are usually always lighter, so we're gonna play with that too. And they all have a little bit of red in their eyes, so there's a lot of stuff we want to play with. You'll see. We'll keep you updated there. And sorry about the glare this whole time, guys. The garage sucks. Anyways, we have the marble male pleco in there. That's his little cave he chose to take over. It's a super red marble. It's not as red as I would like, but you know, you get what you get. And then there's his female, which is super small. You can't really tell, but it's like barely 2 inches, and it's supposed to be a proven female. I don't know about that, but we'll see. Kind of upset with these guys and how they came out. I wish they would have mentioned that they were so small. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not a pro BRISTLENOSE breeder yet, but look at that guy. Look how blue he is. Pretty nice. And this is another pair that hopefully will prove out. It looks like they're doing a little nipping in here. This double dark one is also patternless, so I think it's a double dark ghost. I'm not exactly sure, but I think that's what it is. Something like that. I think it's turquoise blushing too or something. And then we have a pretty nice, for a pet store, gold marble here. And from what we're learning, blushing gold marble is also a koi. There's just different stages of red. They have the darker red and more red on the body than these guys, and that's pretty much a koi. So I guess we pretty much have koi, and we can keep the babies that are high red. Get some cool ones. So those are all the angel fish we have in my garage. It's gonna be a little difficult to see these guys. I'm gonna try and get my light out on my phone so I can give you a little better view. Alright, well these guys are pretty hard to see. If I shine my light on them, you can get a good idea for what they look like. They're pretty darn cool. There's a good view of that one. There we go. Yeah, so these guys are straight from the wild. I think there's one pair in here. This guy on the right, the big one, is a male, I think. So I think the next step for these guys is we're gonna try and separate them into pairs, kind of like what we did with the angelfish, and see what happens from there. Real quick, I just wanted to say one thing. The reason we broke everything up into pairs, like that one and that one, it's weird pointing on camera, but the guys down there. Anyways, the reason we broke them up into pairs is because it's a little easier to control their environment. We can give them bigger water changes easier. If we're trying to do 100% water changes in a 60 gallon, obviously that's 60 gallons. In a 20 gallon, it's only 20. So we're in a 20 gallon. We're planning to put them in a 60 gallon because that's how we got the original pairs to pair off. Well, it was in a 45, but the 60 is bigger, so it probably would have been better. But long story short, we put them off into pairs in 20 gallons. We had them in a 20 gallon and we figured out which ones were kind of pairing off and which ones were males and which ones were females, and then we ended up splitting them up, and it's working out pretty good so far. We haven't got any eggs yet, but it's only been like a week, I think, so we'll give it another week and see what happens. I also have my domestic discus upstairs and the angelfish that don't produce fertile fry. So let's go check those weirdos out. There is the female. She's a red spotted leopard. She's not as big as the male, but she's still pretty nice in my opinion. And there's the male. He's kind of hiding behind the old sponge filter there. But he's a Penang eruption, which is a snake skin. These guys are really nice. I got them from Carolina Discus. I produced a few babies from them. I have like 7 growing up that I held back. This is a pretty good pair in my opinion. You can see it's not dirty. Those are all just little bloodworms on the floor. They love those guys. Usually I feed those about once a week and that triggers them to lay some eggs there. I'll show you the babies, but they're not gonna look very nice. These are my cool fish posters. Some shrimps, goldfish, and plecos. Then I got guppies in the other room, and there's a little freshwater plants. Still trying to learn those guys. This is also a really nice looking pair. I got these from Discus Fish USA, and they're supposed to be proven breeders, but they produce about 7 batches of eggs. I've raised them and let them go in the tank. Even the ones that are left over after they eat them haven't became wrigglers. I put them in the jar separate. Those didn't become wrigglers. I've caged them. Those didn't become wrigglers. So I think I was sold an infertile pair. The guy from there told me that it was proven there's 2 batches of wrigglers already, but I don't know. I bred lots of different angelfish before. I breed discus. I have like fry to prove it. I bred bristlenose. I bred all kinds of different stuff, and for some reason these guys are not producing fertile eggs. If Discus Fish USA sees this, they're like the nicest angelfish I've ever seen. I mean, look at the quality of that. That guy's huge. And then the female is huge too. I don't know what's going on. That's what you have to be wary of. When you order a breeding pair, you pay good money, and sometimes they're just not what you think they are. Same thing happened with the plecos. So not everything goes perfect. You hit your bumps in the road, but keep going. It always gets better, trust me. And once we go to Jason's house, you'll see what I'm talking about. There you can see the old dad pleco guarding all his little babies in the back right side. I think they're like 1 day free swimming, right?
Yeah.
Then the mom's on the right on the outside of the cave. You can kind of see him there swimming around. And that's the male doing with his fin, keeping the old water aerated and keeping the cave fresh of poop and old food. We took the angelfish out of here because we realized that the adult angelfish do eat the pleco fry. They start coming out of the cave and the male was just sitting right outside. I think he was picking them off one by one because we left one in there for a test and it disappeared like instantly. We're just growing this batch out in here to see how many babies we get and see if there's a difference from when we left them in there with the angelfish. And then we're gonna put those back in with these angelfish after the fry come out of the cave. They're hard to see. These are some angelfish over at Jason's, more like blushing gold marbles, I think they are. One of them's a veil tail, the one on the right side, and that's the female, and the one on the left is the male. Those are the parents of all the fry that we have. And then we have some like rosy minnows in here cycling all the sponges in the rest of the tanks. And we have some Japanese blue sword antler guppies in here. They're swimming around all fast, so they're kind of hard to see, but they're pretty sweet once you get them going. So what we did to cycle all these tanks was go over to our local fish store and we just got like $5 worth of guppies, and you can see we put them in some in there and there's a bunch in here. But we made it kind of fun and got 3 male of the Japanese blue antlers so we can throw them in a pond after and hopefully get some blue babies just like that. We got some pretty cool angelfish in here. They're like clown pattern. There's one of them hiding. It's like another gold blushing. The reason we got so many of these is because that's where they get the koi's from, and those are really popular right now. So that has a clown patterning to it, and the way you get that is the stripeless gene and the zebra gene, I'm pretty sure. There you can see their clown patterning. Oh, there's the last one we got with kind of a mottled clown pattern, and it's another veil tail. So hopefully we start producing some of those. So we'll explain the genes more in a better angelfish oriented video. We pretty much have all the normal ones you can get, the golds, the marbles, the darks, what else, the zebras, black lace. We got the smokies, but they're babies. We have wilds. We're still trying to get half blacks, the Philippine blues, and the albinos. Other than that, we pretty much got it going on. That's what we feed the old angels: frozen brine shrimp and frozen bloodworms. There's some bloodworms down there, so you can see. Bloodworms are really good for angelfish and discus, but people say that they can get bloated off those, so we throw in brine shrimp to make sure they digest everything properly and poop all nice. There you can see that really high orange guy hiding back there. That's probably like one of the nicest color ones we have right now. These guys are big enough to eat brine shrimp now too. You'd be surprised how these little guys can eat bigger stuff. Like, look at that guy. They just grab on it and rip it up, even if it's a little too big for them. They still love it. You can easily see these guys have eaten now. There's still some brine shrimp floating around, but you can see their little orange bellies. These guys are like 2 days or 3 days free swimming. That's how you know they're eating good. And then those guys are like 5 weeks. One more thing I wanted to point out was we still do everything with buckets. We drain into the bucket and then I empty it into a drain outside. I fill up a 5-gallon and then refill their tank. So each one gets a 5-gallon or 10-gallon change every day. We are gonna hook up a drain system eventually and probably some kind of sump system, but right now we don't have like the ideal setup. For right now, if you wanna see, you can go to like Aquarium Co-op's YouTube channel, and he has a lot of videos on how to build these like simple racks with cinder blocks and pieces of 2x4. So I basically want to just give you guys an update of what's going on. Sorry the video was so jumpy. I'm sitting here editing it and realized I didn't even do an outro. Me and Jason always forget that. So just wanted to say, later fish homies, thanks for checking us out. Keep it real and keep watching our videos as soon as they come out.